If you're just starting commuting, well, I guess the first thing is a ride, we call our bicycles. If you have one, or if you don't have one, the first stop you want to do is get to one of your local bike shops. We have 4 good bike shops in State College, and any one of them will help you get your bike running or pick one that suits your potential riding style. So consult with them. They know what they're talking about. Tell them what you want to do and where you want to go, and they'll get you hooked up.
My name is Koehle. I'm the Community Relations Officer for the State College Police Department. Requirements for a bicycle. If a bicycle is going to be ridden at nighttime, it should have a front working headlamp that is visible. The light is visible from 500 feet. It should also have a rear reflector, as well as 2 side reflectors, which are usually put on one on the front tire and one on the rear tire. Bicyclists under the age of 12 are required to wear a helmet, although we do recommend a helmet for all riders for safety purposes. Bicyclists in the center region should register their bicycle. They can do so at the State College Municipal Building or through Penn State University. Bicycles should be registered on an annual basis. When cyclists register their bicycle, they can pick up a map of the local bike routes. Bicyclists are required to follow all the same requirements in terms of signaling and responsibilities with regard to entering and exiting traffic ways and roadways as motor vehicles. Cyclists are not allowed to ride on freeways or limited access highways.
Hi, my name is Justin Wagner. I'm one of the co-owners of Freeze Thaw Cycles Bike Shop here on Allen Street in State College. And today I can talk to you a little bit about just some basic things that can be very helpful to know when you have a bike in State College. We have some pretty extreme weather here throughout the year. We have a lot of wet weather, snow, rain, sleet. And what we see in our service department, because we fix a lot of bikes for people, do a lot of tune-ups and service, there's a lot of things that happen on bikes that are pretty preventable, that can save you a lot of time and money, and I can kind of just talk about that a bit. So in town here, you know, there's a lot of bike racks on campus, maybe around your dorms or apartments, downtown, and you see bikes on these racks that are, you know, they basically turned from a normal bike into just a pile of rust, and you may wonder how that happened. Basically, one of the worst things you can do for a bike is leaving it outside. It's kind of the only resort for some people. They can't take it in an apartment, but when you leave a bike out in the rain or the snow, you're basically exposing all these moving metal parts that are meant to hold pretty tight tolerances. You know, they need to move freely the way they're designed. And when you leave them out in the rain or the snow, rust will start really quickly. And one thing that does help speed that along is when there's salt down on the roads in the wintertime. When you ride through, say, a slush puddle on the road or, you know, through the rain, your bike's actually picking up a lot of that stuff off the road, and some of that is salt from, you know, they put down to melt ice. So you can imagine, you know, when you get to your bike rack and lock your bike up and just leave it there for a few days or weeks, or sometimes people even leave them for months, the degradation of the parts goes pretty quickly. You can see chains and things like cables on the outside of the bike getting rusty, and then you maybe go to ride your bike in the spring and you pull the brake and nothing happens. You know, the cable's just rusted shut. Or you go to pedal and you realize the chain is rusted and it's skipping around. So these are really common things. You know, we see it pretty much every day. We go through a ton of chain lube and degreasers and cleaners here fixing bikes. We really don't mind doing that for you, but we charge an hourly rate to work on bikes. So if you get in the habit of kind of cleaning and keeping things cleaned and lubed through the winter, you can save yourself a lot of cost. You know, it can be a big difference. So my number one tip is to not leave the bike outside. If you can somehow manage to bring it in your apartment, you know, even if you have a couple of roommates and they're giving you a weird look, say, you know, I need a little spot for this. You can put down a piece of cardboard on the carpet so you don't make a mess. And if you can store your bike inside, that makes a huge difference. When you're done riding, bring it in. Just take a rag, wipe things down. If there's snow or sleet on it, wipe it off. And there are special lubricants for bikes that can help prevent rust and just help keep things moving nicely. One of our favorite lubes here at our shop is actually from this company called Pedro's, and it's a biodegradable chain lube. So it's made from canola oil. A lot of other chain lubes can be made from petroleum products, which they work really well, they stay on, but they're a little toxic to work with. So this is probably my favorite chain lube. It's safe to get on your hands, or if like a pet touches it or a little kid or something, it's not going to be toxic. So just basically keeping your bike free of all that salt and grime off the roads, and once in a while lubing your chain can go a long way. It can save you a lot of money. And in the springtime, we do see bikes that have to get a lot of parts replaced because things just rusted beyond the point of being able to be fixed. So if you do a little bit, it goes a long way. So one other very basic yet important thing for bike ownership and maintenance is it's real simple, but it's keeping your tires inflated. And most people probably have heard this, but that being said, most people don't keep the proper pressure. I see people all the time around town, their rims almost hitting the road because their tires are so low. And there's a lot of reasons you want to keep good air in your tires. One, it makes things last longer. You're going to get less flat tires if you keep good pressure in there. If you hit a bump or a rock or a curb, you prevent what's called a pinch flat, where the rim is actually pinching against the tube, causing a flat. Tubes cost $6 in our shop. That's actually kind of low nationwide. It's as an average, but still a decent amount of money, $6 for a piece of rubber. Figure that, and if you have someone install it, it's going to be about the same in labor. So each time you get a flat, it's $12. If you keep your tires inflated, you can really cut down on the number of flats you get, especially those pinch flats. The other thing is your tires were designed to be at a certain pressure, and going around corners, just doing general riding, they're going to work better. They're going to get better traction. They're going to corner better if they have the proper amount in them. So, kind of for a lot of reasons, you want to check those once in a while. And having a pump at home is a really great idea. That's what people should have. If you just don't have budget or space for it, we actually keep a free pump to use up front in the front of our store. And it's actually the same one. It's just a kind of a basic, what we call floor pump, and it's made by Trek. It's the brand that we carry. And the key with this is it has a gauge on it, and you can check the amount of pressure that's in your tire, and you might be surprised it might be way lower than you thought. Just pinching on the tire with your hand doesn't always really show you. So if you have a pump like that, they run about $30 if you get one. If you want to use ours up front, you just come in and borrow it. It's free. But you want to check those, I'd say about once a week or every 2 weeks, depending on the bike. Some bikes, like a road bike, are very high pressure but fairly low volume. So they're going to leach air actually a little quicker than, say, a mountain bike tire. That's the opposite. It's a higher volume, lower pressure. So just checking those once in a while is a really good idea. And one thing, if you're wondering how much to put in there, on the side of your tire, on the rubber part, it will actually have a little recommended range where it says something between 40 to 60 psi. And that means you can safely go down to 40 if it's raining or you're on dirt and gravel to get traction, but they don't want you going higher than 60. 60 would make it ride quicker on the roads, but it would be a little bit less smooth. So, just doing a simple thing like that, checking your tire pressure and making sure it's ideal will help your bike last longer, safer to ride, and just save you some money.
Start slow, go out and do something that's enjoyable, and then just keep building up from there.